Hey guys, it's Tyler. I'm back. Hope you're having a great day. Today I'm going to show you 5 more ways to rig the Z-Man Finesse TRD. If you haven't already seen my first video on rigging the TRD, go click that to see some basics on the Ned Rig and 5 of the more straightforward ways to rig this bait. It's been a really popular video so far, so I appreciate you guys watching and your support. Speaking of support, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do me that solid and go click the red button down below and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a future video. Now, the point of today's video is to take a little bit of a spin off of the last 5 riggings that I showed you and make them more sophisticated, more appropriate, show you a couple tips and tricks on how to fish the Ned Rig more effectively. Let's get right into it.
Okay, number 1 is the standard Ned Rig. In the first video, this was the first rig too, but I believe this head specifically will get more bites, and for a couple of reasons. One, as you can see, the head is colored. I can't tell you whether chartreuse or red will get bit more, but I do believe contrast and bold colors will outperform the standard green pumpkin or black heads. And 2, you may or may not be able to see, but the head is quite a bit smaller. This is a 1/15 ounce to be specific. And I mentioned this before, but lighter is better for this application. When rigged and fished properly, the Ned Rig often gets bit on the initial fall. A slow fall allows the bait to spiral down and move naturally. You know, I see way too many guys using a 1/5 or a 1/6 ounce head, and I know it's because even that feels pretty lightweight to many anglers. But I'll say it again, lighter is better. You know, I prefer contrasting colors on the head and the body. So for this one, we're going to take a chartreuse head and a Junebug body. First step is to line it up and see where it should come out roughly. Next, we're going to thread it on. Come out at about that spot. Okay, pull it up over the keeper. And straighten it out for a nice presentation. And I've said it before, but I'll stress it again. I believe a properly rigged TRD will outperform one with kinks or bends in the bait. So I do recommend taking the time to rig it up straight. Okay, let's take a look at this bad boy underwater. First, we're going to start with a drag and stop. Next, we'll do kind of a double hop type of retrieve. And lastly, we'll kind of glide this around, more of a glide and swim type of presentation. Okay, number 2 is the Weedless Ned. If rig number 1 starts hanging up too much and you find yourself breaking off multiple jig heads, I'd recommend going to a weedless rig. Last time I showed you the Weedless Finesse Shroomz head from Z-Man with the wire weed guard, but this time I'm going to show you this awesome little EWG Ned head from Lifted Jigs. This thing is rad. Now this head allows you to fish around heavy cover and brush, and it has no weed guard at all. What I've done is applied the same principles as that first rig in keeping these 1/16 ounce, and I've got it in a bold color here with what they call berry, this purple color. So I'm going to match up the berry with a white ice TRD. And what we're going to do to rig this one up is actually just get a sliver of it. See that? Pull that up over the keeper. Line it up, see where it comes out. Bring it through the other side. And expose it. Bang, bang. Might just be the ultimate Ned Rig right there. Woo! Okay, let's check this guy out underwater. First, we're gonna hop, hop, hoppity hop, and then we'll glide it, drag it, and give it that double hop, hop, hop. And then we're actually going to give it a good shake. Nice little shaking glide as the final little presentation here. And drop it down. Okay, number 3 is the lightweight Texas rig. While rig number 2 will allow the bait to stand up straight because of that mushroom head, you might want to occasionally try a standard Texas rig without the weight pegged, just to give the fish a different presentation with that separation. More of a Texas rig than a Ned rig, really. In the last video I showed you what I had just laying around. I think a 3/0 light wire EWG from Gamakatsu and a 3/16 ounce tungsten weight. So that hook is too large to really let the tail of this small 2 3/4 inch bait quiver much at all. And that weight also is a little bit too heavy, making the bait fall too fast. So this time what we're gonna do is go with a little bit more proper hardware here. And we're gonna use a weightless owner twist lock hook in a 1/0 size and a 1/8 ounce tungsten weight. Now rigging a Laztec onto a screw lock keeper is a challenge for sure, so let me show you what I do with screw lock hooks. Now with a shaky head you could light this up with a lighter first and it would go in super easily, but with a screw lock hook what I'm going to do is push the screw lock in and pinch the bait till I feel that screw lock and twist it a little bit. Pinch and screw. Pinch and screw. Go around all the way until the eye of the hook and to where it lines up with the light side on bottom. We're going to line up the hook like normal. We're going to come in and out the back. And perhaps texpose it for a nice little presentation. Look at that. It's got a lot more room at the tail to do its thing. I think this will get more bites and land just as many fish. I'm not going to have any issue hooking up. And down we go. First we're going to kind of drag it. Give it some hops. Some more aggressive hops. Give it that separation. And then tighten it back up for more of a standard Ned rig presentation. Drag it. You can see the versatility of this guy as I'm hopping it around fast and then now jiggling it. Wants to stand up pretty straight, so you gotta work it a little faster. Number 4 is a Finesse Jig trailer, specifically the Z-Man Finesse Shroomz Micro Jig. I mentioned it as an option in the last video, but now I'm going to highly recommend that you throw this pairing as a confidence bait. Last time I chose to pair the TRD with a football jig by Jewel, and it looked great, but that lead keeper was fat and had no barb of any kind. And unfortunately it stretched out the bait, dried out the bait, wore it out in a strange way and made it unusable in pretty short order. So after some trial and error, I've chosen the Finesse Micro Shroomz Jig as my go-to for this application. It's basically the standard Finesse Shroomz hook with a nice little skirt on it and a solid wire keeper made specifically for a Laztec. Now this color is called Pond Scum and I'm pairing it up with a green pumpkin orange TRD. So I'll just clear the skirt out of the way and I'll line up the bait to see how long it is, which is not very. And as best as possible, I will rig this puppy straight come out in the middle of the back. And as always, I'll grab the neck of the bait and pull it up over that keeper. Fix that skirt. What do you think of that thing? Now, because the shank of the hook on this jig is so short, really frees that tail up on the jig to have some great secondary action in addition to that skirt as it's sitting down on the bottom. All right, let's check out the jig. It's a slow fall. Look at that skirt. Just hopping this slowly. Letting the jig do the work. Gonna drag it a little. You can see that now it swims and kind of emulates a bait fish. When you drag it along the bottom, hop it quickly, or even swim it. But then you go right back to the Ned and it stands up straight. Look at that swimming. Looks like a fish. And drop it. Look at that, standing up straight. And number 5 is the Neko Rig. I'm mostly just suggesting this to mix it up from last time. I do think a drop shot with the TRD is a good idea, but let's talk about the Neko Rig. Typically this rig is best used with a bait in the 4 to 6 inch range, but it'll still work with a Finesse TRD. And the main reason I want to show you this rigging today is to showcase the new Neko weights by Z-Man, made specifically for Elastec baits. Now these two bait keepers on here will ensure that your plastic stays up on there. That weight's not going to come out even when you're skipping this, and it's pretty easy to rig too. So what you do is just shove it straight down in until you feel it start to lock a little bit. Then grab a little bit lower, push it again straight down the middle of the bait, and then you can kind of pull it out a little bit to straighten it out. See, there we go. This is a 1/10 ounce weight, by the way. And to hook it, we're going to come in on the side from the bottom up, like so. We don't need to use an O-ring since it's Elastec. It's going to stay on there. And that's your rig. Voila. Okay, last one. Let's look at the Neko. The Neko. Now because this bait is short, it's not wanting to wiggle too much. Just goes up and down. Moves a short distance. So you'll see what works best is kind of these short drags or hops. Moved along quickly. So I drag it first, and then I'll start hopping it. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.